Dr. Anthony Gustin. I'm a sports medicine and functional medicine clinician from Austin, Texas, and have seen firsthand the power of nutrition in practice. Using my clinical experience, I've scaled a whole food, low-carb education platform that over 45 million people have engaged with. The results have been incredible. Thousands of people have used real food, low-carb diets to fix insulin resistance, diabetes, obesity, and more. I'm not against real food carbohydrates, rather for the recognition and inclusion of low-carb, defined as 25% or less of total calories from carb, as a dietary option for people who may benefit from it. Over 60% of Americans have chronic disease and could benefit from this approach, and the current 45% guideline won't be enough to turn their health around. I have full confidence that when the dietary guidelines are refreshed, we will collectively be intelligent enough to incorporate the results from hundreds of low-carb studies we've seen over the last 5 years, much like the ADA has done recently. More concerning to me is when we recommend a healthy low-carb nutrition pattern where the energy will come from. If you reduce carbs, you have to increase fat. However, the current guidelines demonize saturated fat and promote polyunsaturated fat. I understand the concern that saturated fat links to heart disease, but when you look at the science, it just doesn't hold up. This is not too dissimilar to the old recommendations for cholesterol that didn't pan out. Listening to everybody today, I know that it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but so was banning trans fat 30 years ago. Real food is not the problem. Saturated fat has been consumed for literally all of human history, yet heart disease only started becoming the killer it is over the last 100 years. Not coincidentally, exactly when seed oils, or the recommended polyunsaturated fats in the current guidelines, were first introduced. Saturated fats are stable in the body and not easily oxidized. They're used for things like energy metabolism, hormone production, cell membranes, nervous system maintenance, and more. Saturated fats are naturally found in both animal and plant foods. In the majority of fat in breast milk, the best food for a developing human is saturated fat. Humans do not lose the ability to use saturated fat after childhood. Polyunsaturated fat, by comparison, are highly reactive molecules. Their many carbon double bonds react violently with oxygen like firecrackers in the body. This peroxidation cascade results in highly toxic compounds, mitochondrial and DNA damage, and oxidation of LDL particles. Polyunsaturated fats come from heavily processed seeds going into oil. This processing takes massive machinery and many chemicals. No human in history was ever able to eat the nutrient-void processed fat from thousands of seeds until the last 100 years. I agree with the stance of this committee that people should be eating nutrient-dense whole foods, but the reality is real foods highest in nutrition per gram are those that include saturated fat. Reducing polyunsaturated fat by allowing saturated fat shouldn't be controversial. You are literally replacing nutrient-void, chemical-rich, processed fake foods and industrial seed oils with natural, nutrient-rich whole foods that have saturated fat. There doesn't need to be a target for saturated fat, rather removal of the current limitation, much like how the cholesterol limitation was dropped in the current guidelines. This will allow people to get the most amount of nutrition per gram of food while minimizing toxic seed oils. Please make the right call on dropping the limitations of saturated fat, much like you did with cholesterol in 2015. Thank you.